And this is the play. This is the one that got so much controversy this week that I don't understand how it did. This is 3rd and 2 on the 35-yard line. And the Ravens are very obviously zero blitzing. How do you know they're zero blitzing? Because nobody is past 5 yards of the line of scrimmage. This is a zero blitz. If you see a zero blitz, you cannot run this out of shotgun on a zero blitz, because that's a recipe to lose 5 yards or get a holding call and lose 10 yards. So running the ball here out the gun at least is not an option. You don't have the personnel on the field to just audible into single, and you want to keep this look, because if they're going to zero blitz you, who's here? Who's here? Marcus Peters, who has been getting beat consistently in one-on-one coverage, and he has absolutely no safety help. Absolutely no safety help. You have Amari Cooper on a 9 route with no safety help on a dude who's been beat 3 times before in this game. You take that chance. Let's get into this film breakdown for this week. And one of the things I always like to do this for is, after a loss, especially, we get so caught up in wanting to be mad, right? Everybody wants to be mad for whatever reason. Sometimes, let's be real, some of us ain't really that mad, but then we see everybody else being mad. Now we feel like we got to be mad too, right, to fit in. Some of us are actually mad, but maybe we're mad about things that we didn't quite understand because the broadcast of the game didn't really give you enough information, but it gave you it didn't give you enough information to know what was going on, but gave you just enough information to make you think that you did, when what you thought you knew was a bit of a misconception, but you spent the whole week being so mad that now you're dug in a hole. This is what we use film for, is so we can evaluate what actually happened, what was actually a mistake, and what was actually good from a game. So that's what we're going to go in. I got about 12, 15 plays we're going to go through, because honestly, this wasn't a poorly played game by the Cleveland Browns. I felt like they played a fine enough game to win. Some things didn't bounce their ways. That's what happens in the NFL. But let's get into it, man. First play right here. MJ Emerson, he's been a consistent highlight. He continues to be a consistent highlight, and he shows it off right here with this sack. Lamar, in this situation, he kind of waits too long for something to open up downfield, right? So they're in this look. They come out under center. They fake the play action as a roll. And what he wants is this high-low concept up here with Mark Andrews, right? He wants to be able to go high-low and take one of them. But I think the Browns did a good job of taking that away. As you see, Taki plays this perfectly. And then that downfield route is covered for Rashad Bateman. So nothing's open down there. He does have the low, but he didn't want to take the low here. I think it was first down. He didn't want to take that. That's probably like 5 yards. So instead, he holds the ball a little bit longer, and MJ Emerson does a good job of realizing, hey, there's no run here. Watch MJ. He's on this part of the screen, right here. You see MJ? He's at this part of the screen, and you see MJ realizes this, and he goes from playing the run action, stops, realizes, okay, there's no run coming this way, hesitates a little bit to see if any routes are coming, realize he doesn't have any responsibility here, so he decides to go get the quarterback and does a great job tackling. That's a great play by MJ Emerson. That's a heads-up play, right? That wasn't schemed up. That's a heads-up play. That's him being aware of the situation he's in, not being so aggressive on the first possibility that he overplays his shot, which his defense has done a couple of times, but being the right amount of aggressive, right? Aggressive enough to know what's going on and take advantage of it. I really think MJ Emerson's going to be a good player. And the reason I know this is because Denzel Ward ain't been in for like 2 weeks. We ain't been talking about that. That's how you know MJ's going to be good. Look again here. He reads the play. Doesn't bite too hard, but still maintains and fills his gap, his responsibility. He maintains integrity there. He got his integrity. And then once he realizes he has no responsibility, 84 is going to block, he goes in for the kill. Boom. Nice. Nice play there, man. MJ's a good young player. All right, so in this play, I want to highlight the job that JOK did, number 28 here on your screen, on Mark Andrews. Want you to watch here. JOK handles him in the slot, does a good job sticking, realizes the ball is coming out of Lamar's hand, so he doesn't want to overplay his position. He just kind of hovers and slaps. Good job. We're going to see this from the other angle. And we're going to see JOK just doing a good job maintaining his own. Realizes the ball's coming. Now it's time to be aggressive because it might be coming to you. Boom. That's Mark Andrews, one of the best tight ends in football. It's a great play here. Defensive tackle play I want to highlight was good. Watch Jordan Elliott right here, number 96. You know, he gets around, goes to his edge. That's what forces Lamar to get back in the pocket. And that's what gets Taven Bryant this sack here. Look how fast he got there. Look, this is what I've been dying to see. I have been begging them to do this on this side of the ball. To see this kind of effort, to see this kind of pressure from the interior. I was so happy to see this this week. You know what I mean? He does a good job running around, getting to that edge. Lamar gets way too deep into his drop. So now he has to push back in and let the pocket come to him. And by the time that happens, I mean, Clowney's free, Miles is free, Taven's free. That's a sack, baby. Damn, man. Defensively, I thought they did some good stuff this week. And we're going to see this from this angle. Look at the space. You know, one of the things I want to point out, and the reason they do film in two angles, right, is that broadcast angle doesn't give you a good idea for spacing because it condenses so much of the field, right? Especially on TV. But that end zone angle gives you a good idea of what the spacing actually is, because on TV, it's hard to really figure that out. Look at the spacing here. Look at the amount of ground that 96 has to cover. This is very difficult to do, right? And it gives you a better idea. So, like, that's why I say when you look at stuff and you look at, oh, he should have threw this or he should have did that, wait till you see that end zone angle, because, again, the spacing is going to look a lot different on the end zone angle because that's what the spacing actually is. That broadcast angle is not real life. The spacing's off on that. You know. On this play, let's rewind it a little bit, right? On this play, Coop is running a drag route, basically, right? And this play is honestly open. It's unfortunate. There was so much open on this play. It's unfortunate that this ball got stripped. I think this is a product of Jacoby Brissett just not seeing the field well, and not seeing the pocket well, which happens sometimes with them. But there are two things I want to point out. So here we have that under route being ran by Coop. We have this 9 being ran by David Bell. And then this out being ran by is that Donovan Peoples-Jones. And all three of these things are open. Hell, Kareem Hunt over here, open. This should have he should have got rid of this earlier, right? The reason he doesn't get rid of this earlier, in my opinion, is he's locked on Coop, right? And if you're locked on Coop and he's running this drag, what you're looking for is for Coop to enter this window, right? You miss this window with him, right? Because now he's too deep in this drop and too close to this hash to throw this ball in this window, because then it's going to be behind, and that dude, Josh Mines, he's going to pick that off. So he missed this window, right? He could have threw this to Kareem Hunt. I don't think that's a ridiculous ask. But what he's waiting for is for Coop to enter this window, right? So he can throw it to him in stride. He's going to have this blocker. He's going to have this guy cleared out. Peter's going to be cleared out. And maybe this guy comes out. You can one-on-one beat him. It's 3rd and long. Keep in mind, this is the down and distance. It's 3rd and long. So I don't love that decision there. I don't love this decision, and I don't love this decision. But I do think there's some merit in waiting on this. The pocket didn't hold up long enough for this, but the real missed opportunity is right here with David Bell. Because David Bell, I want y'all to notice this brother was open the whole play. This is one of those things that you look back on and say, hey, we missed that one, right? This was a missed opportunity. We can make the argument that, hey, with Watson, this doesn't happen. But, Watson's going to miss a couple of guys or not see a couple of guys too. But what happens here is that Baltimore pretty much sends everybody on the left side. So they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's count it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So he goes back into coverage. All 6 of these guys go. And what you have now, if we split the field, and again, this is where pre-snap matters a lot. So what he should have saw was that this guy's standing up. He's probably going to drop back out. They might send this dude. They might not. If so, slide this way and split the field into two reads, right? So if pre-snap, you see this, you see that this guy's going to drop here. You know that this is not going to be open in that first window. So you got to get rid of the ball, or you got to wait. That can't be your first read. That's probably got to be your third read, right? Then if you make that determination that, okay, they're sending this guy's dropping back, then you look over here and you know what you have here, which is he's running a 9. And then you got Peoples-Jones running this out, right? And you know that the way Peters is covering this and he's positioned, that's probably going to be covered. But you notice that you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 yards of cushion here for David Bell to make something happen. And you have a guy who's flat-footed, cross-footed right here. So again, if the pre-snap if that's how I think it was supposed to be looked at, I could be wrong there. And we can see how it plays out because David Bell, oh my goodness. So what actually happens is that this dude 22 doesn't even stick on David Bell. He ends up shading towards Peoples-Jones while Peters plays over top towards the line. And then David Bell was open that whole time, right? Got to throw it. Got to throw that seam, man. This is the thing with Jacoby, right? He's going to look underneath. He's going to take the safer options. And look, you can make the argument that Coop would have got the first down there. And he probably would have if that pocket holds up. But David Bell was right there. We didn't have to do all that work. We didn't have to wait all that time. David Bell was right there. These are the mistakes that separate decent quarterbacks from great quarterbacks, and why great quarterbacks get paid $45 million and why decent quarterbacks get paid $8 to $5. You know what I mean? Like there's just a difference there. And not everybody can do all of that. That's a lot. Like think about how hard it is to be a quarterback and put this in perspective. We just spent at least a good 5-6 minutes talking about the pre-snap breakdown and the post-snap breakdown of that one play. In real life, that quarterback does not have 5 minutes and a bird's eye view to see everything. They have 15 seconds to make that determination. That's why playing quarterback is hard in the NFL. If you've ever had any questions, that's why it is. Because that's the amount of work that you have to do and determine. It's easy for me to do this in a chair with a bird's eye view. That's why a lot of guys can do film study. Not a lot of guys can play quarterback because not a lot of guys can do that real time. And look, Jacoby is not one of the best at doing that. This is why Tom is great, because Tom can process all that in like 2 seconds. Jacoby can't. But maybe Deshaun can. Deshaun's really good at this stuff, right? So that's the hope. And that's what we mean by when you talk about upgrading quarterback play. That's really what it is, right? Again, pre-snap, post-snap, like it's just hard. Something's going to be there every play. And this is what I'm talking about with that window, right? So, boom. If you thought I was like making a joke, yes, there is a window here and you can throw it to Kareem Hunt. Geno Stone's probably going to get him before he gets 15 yards. So that's not going to get the first down. So that's probably not a good option, right? So Kareem Hunt probably not really into play. Now, Coop is a decent option, right? That's locked up. David's running the block on that. You can see David Bell right here. You could throw it to him. Now, I think what Jacoby was worried about was Matabuke getting the hand up, but he got two dudes on him. He not getting that hand up. Let that thing loose. So instead of doing that, he would rather wait for this scrum, these guys, to move this way, to open up a lane this way, to wait till Amari Cooper gets to about here and throw through that passing window. Again, if the pocket holds up, it holds up. But what happened here was that Jack Conklin didn't hold up here. And we can go look at that and see how Jack Conklin lost leverage. But it was on Jack Conklin. Freehold does a decent enough job here with Campbell. But yeah, Conk, he just doesn't get deep enough. Houston beats him around the edge with the speed rush. And then he rips him, right? And he does a good job of getting his hips low. I mean, like, I can't even really blame that on Conklin. Sometimes you just get beat by better technique. And Houston had better technique there. Got low, was able to keep his hips balanced, and then get his. That's a great play there by Justin Houston to blow that play up, because that's definitely a first down on the 3rd and long. So, you know, that's how you, sometimes like in the NFL, the other side gets paid too. Sometimes you make some mistakes. This is why NFL football is hard, right? Because everybody is really good at their job, which makes it hard for you to be good at your job, right? Everybody's good at their job. And what's their job? To make your job harder. Makes your job incredibly hard. All right, man, this next play here, we spent a lot of time on that play. But think about that. As a quarterback, you probably got to get all that shit in pre-snap. That's tough. All right, Tommy Togiai, I felt like had a good play here, man. I don't usually get to highlight him. I know I've been rough on him, but I want to highlight when he does a good job if I'm going to be rough on him. Look at 93 here. We're going to highlight him. Boom, Mr. 93. And he does a good job here getting off this block and saving a big play here. Because if we can look here, boom, right here, they got it. They got it all, right? Lane, smack. Head turn, smack. Then safety all the way over here looking this way, smack. These two dudes out the play. He's out the play. They got it all right here. Like, that's at least 15 yards if he gets through that gap. But Tommy Togiai does a good job playing this, because he comes off this block and boom, makes the play. No worries. And even give credit to Taki who gets off that Ricard block, because they had that, man. They had that. Let me see how he got off of that. But he had that, right? Tommy Togiai does a good job here. Oh, yeah. And so does Sione Taki, right? Because at this moment, this thing is sealed up, but Togiai keeps fighting. And then you can see Taki does a good job just shedding Pat Ricard. Boom. That's good run defense right there. I can't believe I said that. But that's good run defense right there. What world are we living in? Maybe they're better at it now, right? And we can see it again from this angle. It's the same play. Yep, the same play. You can see how everything's kind of forming up. Oh, no, this is a good play by Deion Jones. My bad. So we're going to go back. Deion Jones, number 54. Think he did a good job here just fitting his run fit. So he comes up. He initially goes towards what? B-gap. And then he starts floating towards C and does a good job of avoiding the blocker, being able to get a body on him, get a tackle. That's good run defense there. Run defense was much improved this week. It was so bad the week before that if it was just normal, it was going to make a massive leap. It was normal. And at some points, it was actually good. I know, right? It wasn't good the whole game, but at some points, it was actually good. All right, this next play here is going to be JOK. I think this is the strip play from JOK. Let's play it. All right, so yeah, this is the run. They do a good job. Who is that just demolished him? Was that John Johnson? Yeah, John Johnson does a good job being physical here, getting through that gap. And then who is that? Is that Jordan Elliott, who had a good game too? Yeah, Jordan Elliott does a good job here of washing his guard once he sees him commit towards John Johnson, cleans him up, which forces the play back inside. Isaiah Thomas could have did a better job, could have actually made the play, but I don't think he got enough depth here, right? I think he was too worried about trying to come backside to chase this play down that he was too shallow of an angle to get Hill when he cut back here. So Hill's able to cut back, and then that creates a lane because nobody's expecting that. JOK does a great job here of punching this thing loose. And that almost won the Browns a game. Again, run defense wasn't great, but it was good in spots. Can't really complain. Again, look. I think Jordan Elliott's probably the most important person to watch here, because once John tries to fill that gap and he sees that guard commit, he does a great job of washing that guard out the way, forcing that play inside. You wish, Isaiah Thomas made a rookie mistake here, but JOK makes up for it. Does a great job punching that ball out. Makes a big play. All right. So now the Browns have the ball. And this is where a lot of controversy was. And I'm going to be honest with you. Sometimes there's controversy about the play calling that's justified and valid. And there's valid criticism of Kevin Stefanski. I'm not one to say that there isn't. There's definitely things you can complain about with Kevin, right? Sometimes the play calling is a little bit funky. Sometimes he makes some mistakes. Sometimes he outthinks himself when he doesn't have to. Other times, the complaints are gobbledygook. This week, I think some of the complaints were gobbledygook. I'll explain why when we get to it, but yeah, I think some of the complaints were gobbledygook this week. All right, so this is a play here where the Ravens only sent 4, but they get a one-on-one opportunity with no safety help on Marcus Peters, right? And that's not Amari Cooper. That's Donovan Peoples-Jones, and Donovan wins that. Now, interesting enough, if you watch Donovan Peoples-Jones, who, if you're not aware, is this guy on the screen. Well, not this guy right here. I want y'all to notice something as I rewind this play about what he did. All right, so Donovan Peoples-Jones on this play, right? Well past the first 5. So where's the line of scrimmage? The line of scrimmage is about the 19-yard line. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so boom. So well past the first 5, he does his little shove move, which they don't call offensive pass interference. Gets open. Again, notice that's one-on-one coverage with Marcus Peters. And this is the 3rd time this game that's worked. I want y'all to notice that. This is the 3rd time that one-on-one coverage, no safety help on Marcus Peters has worked. All right, so you get this look. You take it. And then the next play, the pocket kind of crumbles, right? Jack Conklin, I don't think he had a good game at all. Jet Wills didn't either. But Jack really let some dudes through this week. I mean, I don't think the offensive line had their best game at all this week. But I think Brissett does a great job making something out of nothing here. Very clutch play by Brissett right there. You get the ball to the 33. Again, the pocket just kind of collapses on you. And this is the play. This is the one that got so much controversy this week that I don't understand how it did. This is 3rd and 2 on the 35-yard line. And the Ravens are very obviously zero blitzing. How do you know they're zero blitzing? Because nobody is past 5 yards of the line of scrimmage. This is a zero blitz. If you see a zero blitz, you cannot run this out of shotgun on a zero blitz, because that's a recipe to lose 5 yards or get a holding call and lose 10 yards. So running the ball here out the gun at least is not an option. You don't have the personnel on the field to just audible into single, and you want to keep this look, because if they're going to zero blitz you, who's here? Marcus Peters, who has been getting beat consistently in one-on-one coverage, and he has absolutely no safety help. Absolutely no safety help. You have Amari Cooper on a 9 route with no safety help on a dude who's been beat 3 times before in this game. You take that chance. That is absolutely 100% what you do. I know we want to run Nick Chubb more, but football is more There's more to football than just running the ball. When you have this look, you take it because it's not often you get this in football. You got to take it. And it was there. But people have been complaining about this play call, saying that Kevin shouldn't have threw the ball on 3rd and 2. I think that's ridiculous. If they're going to zero blitz you and you got to do like Amari Cooper, just throw that thing up and see if you can beat them. And you did. They called OPI on something that was less of a push off than what we saw with Donovan Peoples-Jones earlier. It's just a bad break, but that's not a bad play call. It didn't work, but it didn't work. It didn't not work because it wasn't a good play call. It just didn't work because they called a bad penalty. You take that. That is a zero blitz. And if you don't believe me that that's a zero blitz, let me go back and show you that this was a zero blitz. Look at this. Zero. Who is back there right now? Not a single soul. Who's going to be the most open? Yes, you see Peter's numbers already. You see these routes, they're not open. You see him, he's running an angle route. He's about to fall down because that man's all over him. But Peters, he played this wrong, and Coop about to go over top of him. And it was there. It was a zero blitz. You throw that deep every time. You don't run into a zero blitz. That's ridiculous. That's playing into their hands. You do this. You take advantage of it. And it should have been a touchdown. But they called a BS penalty. That's what I'm saying. But that's not the last BS penalty we're going to talk about. We got more. Oh, we got more. So that's unfortunate, but let's talk about this field goal attempt. I know somebody's like, hey, man, technically, Quincy, you know what I mean? Technically, the left end pulled and he actually moved, and on the rule book, it's 2 and look, man, it might be technically a rule, but we all know what bullshit is. This is bullshit. Stop telling me it's something it's not. And the emphasis on people who are Browns fans to justify this call is weird to me, right? Because if you look here, what happens is that 96 is Jordan Elliott that actually moves, right? So Jordan Elliott moves in reaction to what's going on down here, right? And what they're saying is that Calais Campbell did not get tagged before 93 moved, so the penalty is on 93, which technically, sure. Well, before on 96. So technically, sure, you're technically correct. But come on, man. Didn't nobody see that shit? And you know how I know nobody saw that shit in real time? Because nobody knew who to call the penalty on for the Cleveland Browns. They called this penalty on Michael Dunn. Michael Dunn didn't move. It was Jordan Elliott. You see everybody pointing. You don't see a single soul pointing at Jordan Elliott. Nobody knew that Jordan Elliott moved until they looked at the review tape. Come on, man. Come on. You got to know that that's bullshit. Stop telling me it's not bullshit when it's clearly bullshit. Look at this. Look at this. Yes, 96 does move in reaction to everything else. And yes, that's technically a penalty. But nobody saw it. When did the flag come out? Flag came out from this dude. The flag came out from this dude. The flag came out from 92. What was he looking at? This. His head wasn't turned over here. He didn't see that shit. You know whose job is to see this over here? His. Is his flag still in his pocket? Yes, because he did not see it. And the reason he didn't see it was because these 3 dudes jumped. So the Browns got an offsides penalty. An offsides penalty. I mean, a false start penalty because we reacted to somebody else jumping offsides. That's what we got the penalty for. And they didn't even realize it until they had to justify why they wanted to call the penalty on Cleveland. Because what he thought he saw was that 71 jump, but 71 never jumped. 71 reacted to big ass 98 falling all over the neutral zone. Right? 92 the back judge throws this flag once he sees Jedrick Wills move. Look, once he sees Jedrick Wills move, he throws the flag. Oh, offsides. You see Kyle Hamilton down there. Know it's on us. Everybody pointing at Michael Dunn, right? Who, ironically enough, like, look, point at Michael Dunn, point at Michael Dunn. This is the dude who moved, but they're pointing at Michael Dunn. Why are they pointing at Michael Dunn? I don't know. They're just pointing the point, right? And even him, he's pointing at the center who put his head down. That's stupid. Come on, man. But they're pointing at Michael Dunn, and that's who they called the penalty on, was Michael Dunn. They literally just took the Ravens' word for it, is my point. Because the dude that they're trying to blame didn't even move, right? The dude who actually moved, nobody noticed. This dude didn't notice. This dude didn't notice. Nobody noticed. But the only people that got the penalty called on them were the ones the Ravens were pointing at. They just took their word for it. They just took their word for it because they thought it was Jed Wills that jumped. They realized that they were wrong, but they're like, oh no, somebody else must have jumped that was far away from the ball, so we're just going to call it on them. They didn't get this right. This is a bullshit call. It is what it looks like. Bullshit. Stop justifying it, especially if you're a Browns fan. Stop justifying it. It is what it looks like. It's straight bullshit. But that's my film breakdown. Y'all have a great day. Have a good night.